Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome back to Simple Art for Adults. My name's Erin, and today I am going to be working in Sagor Och Sagner by Emily Lyda Oberg, and I probably didn't say that right because I don't say many things right, but that's what we're going to be coloring in. The original plan today was to color the dress here, and this image is by Lisa Matrokin, and it is a very, very pretty image. And so I recorded about an hour and 15 minutes of footage last night so I could share me coloring this dress with you guys. And there was an Android update this morning, and somehow during the update all that footage got corrupted, so I couldn't share it. So unfortunately I'm going to have to print this out again, and we will be coloring that, or I'll be coloring that on camera soon. So I love this picture. Her art is beautiful, and I did tell her that I was going to be doing it this week, but the camera ate all my footage. So I will be posting links to her art down in the description box if you guys want to go check that out. She is a really, really talented artist, and I would really like to see more of her work out in the community. So this will be coming up soon, where I'm going to reprint this and we'll do this dress again. But for today, I've had a lot of people ask me about different ways to color leaves and things like that, and it just so happens that I've done several of the leaves here on this nameplate page here in Sagor Och Sagner. So I am going to go ahead and work on that just a little bit more and kind of show you guys how I'm doing it. And I'm doing the leaves with 3 pencils. I have Pale Sage, Sap Green Light, and Olive Green. And these are all from Prismacolor. I know, my poor Sap Green Light, it's tiny. I have a couple extras, but you know, I like to use the little bitty ones. It makes me feel like I love my pencils, so that's what we're doing. So I hope everyone has had a good weekend so far. I know that mine has been filled with illness. We've got sick people everywhere. We've got a stomach bug floating its way around the house. It has just been insane. The universe is working against me, trying to get this video to you guys. If it's not my camera eating the video, it's sickness. So, but we're going to get this up today, one way or another. I haven't actually recorded a SundayFunday color and chat on a Sunday in a few weeks now, so it's different. What I've done to do this is I've started out by coloring the entire leaf with my lightest color, which is the Pale Sage. And then I've taken my medium color, which is the Sap Green Light. And basically what I've done is kind of in the middle, I've colored a little bit with light layers and pulled it out toward the center. And then from the edge of the leaf, I've done the same. Just light layers, pulling it out toward the center, just leaving like this little area of highlight there. And then the same thing over here. So the same thing on both halves of the leaf, okay? And then what I do is I'll take my darkest color, in this case, which is olive green, and I'll go around the edges. Just go around the edges and make them darker, just like that, and then also down the center of the leaf. If I feel like I need to, I'll come back in and continue to darken things up a little bit. So now I'm just coming back with my medium color, blending in that darker color, just like that. And then once I have my dark colors in place and I'm satisfied with how they look, I'll come back in with my lightest color one more time, so the Pale Sage. And then I'll just kind of go over the center areas because this color will blend all the other ones together. Now sometimes after I do this, it'll lighten it up a little bit too much. And in that case, what I do is in the spots that I think are too light, I just come back in with my darker color and very, very lightly add a little bit more in. I thought that edge was a little bit too light, so we'll put some more of that color in. Blend it out a little with the medium color, just like that. And then again, just a light blend with the lightest color. So again, guys, it's just a matter of applying layers. And the goal here is that you want your highlights, like when you have leaves like this, how I make them look this way is just try to get my highlights to where they're right in the center of each half of the leaf. So I've got my highlight here and my highlight here, and I've darkened up the edges of each half, not just the edges of the leaf, but the edges of each half. So that's kind of how I do that. There's all kinds of different ways to color leaves. I know that I've had just a couple people have asked, you know, how I do that, so I figured I'd share. I may have to dig a pencil extender out of the drawer before this whole adventure is over today. So yeah, I thought about it for a little bit. Got hair stuck everywhere. I thought about it a little bit, and I thought that maybe I would try to attempt to color the skin on that page from Lisa. And I was almost going to do it, and then I realized that I don't do skin very well. Skin's just not my thing. I don't color it very well yet. I am practicing. I have found where I can print out like a template face, like just a cartoon face, and print it out so I can practice doing skin tones. And there's also a tutorial somewhere on YouTube, and for the life of me I can't remember who did it, and I can't find it. I looked for it and couldn't find it. And the lady is talking about to train yourself how to do skin tones and skin shading, to use normal everyday colors. So to color the skin in green or purple or blue, colors that you would normally use for flowers and such. And then this way you feel more comfortable because they're colors you use all the time. And in a way, I suppose that kind of makes a little bit of sense. So that is what my goal is for the next few days. I'm going to be taking, you know, blues, purples, greens, trying to figure out how to shade and blend these various skin tones. This way I don't have to avoid my Jasmine Beckett's Griffith books and my mascara coloring book. I can just dive right in there and have fun. So now I'm just going back over the center parts, which are the lighter colors. So I hope everybody's had a good weekend so far. I hope wherever you are free from the flu that is making its way across the United States, or the cold that is making its way across the United States, or the heat that is making its way across other parts of the world. And, you know, here we are in the United States complaining about how freezing cold we are. In Australia, parts of Sydney are seeing record temperatures, highs that they haven't seen since the late 1930s. So, I mean, you know, it just depends on where you are, what's really happening. So either way, whether it's the heat in Australia and South Africa, or it's the cold here in the United States and parts of Canada, I hope that for all of us, everything normalizes quickly. So unusual for so many people across the country to be dealing with temperatures that are this cold. And it's like turned it into a, you know, Northerners versus Southerners debate. All the Northerners are making fun of us because we have school delays and such for the cold. But honestly, guys, we're just not used to it here. It snowed in Savannah, Georgia. You guys saw Anne's video. It snowed in Savannah, Georgia for the first time in ages. And, you know, when you never have to deal with something and it's never an issue, like you never have to travel in snow, or you never have to dress your kids for snow, of course people are going to take precautions, you know. Some of the arguments are funny, though. I will give them that. I've seen some pretty funny memes. I like memes. Memes are funny, and I've seen some good ones. So that is how I do those leaves. Now I only have one more little group of them down here. Because my hand is probably going to be in a place where I have color, I'm going to get my sheet of tracing paper out. For whatever reason, I think with Prismacolors, when you start out with a light base layer, I feel like it makes it easy to just, it's simpler to blend all your colors together. They just mix better. And a lot of people have told me that about the tritone pencils too. I know that I'm not a huge fan of them. I couldn't really get them to do what I wanted them to do. And so several of the ladies who really, really do like them have pointed out that I need to put a base layer just like this, just like a really light base layer of a color down first, and I'll get much better results out of them. So I do plan to try that soon too. Because right now my tritones are sitting in a drawer, neglected. my 11-year-old daughter was in here coloring with them, and she enjoyed them. She got a lot out of them. But for me, somebody who's typically pretty light-handed, trying to figure out how to get them to work with the way I color was slightly frustrating for me. But that's okay, because like I said, when I was new to the Prismacolors, I did that with them too. They just went on the shelf, and I didn't touch them again. And then one day, after I'd been coloring a while, I got them back out, and it was like a miracle had happened. So I'm thinking the same thing may end up happening with the tritones. We'll just have to see. I like the way they look when you use them to color like eyes or something. They're really pretty. And I've seen people do some awesome things using them to color things like wood and bricks and stones. So I know it can be done. So I apologize. I'm not quite as talkative as normal today. Like I said, we are kind of being gripped by a stomach bug of some sort, and I'm just not feeling 100%. It's not terrible. I'm not to the point where I feel like I just need to go to bed or anything, but it's not wonderful. I definitely don't feel great, so. I did feel like coloring, though, so here we are. I was so upset with this Android update. And I'd already postponed it for a few days because I was like, oh, something's going to change. I'm not going to like it. So then this morning, when I woke up and I was having my coffee and I was at the computer, I thought, well, it's early, so nobody's going to try to call me or anything. I'll just go ahead and do this update now. And then all the stupid footage was gone. It wasn't stupid footage, but it was actually fun. I was really having fun coloring the dress. So Lisa, if you're watching, I promise that I will reprint the photo and reprint the picture, and I'll do it all again in the same colors because I like the way the colors look too. Oh boy. Yeah. Okay. So we're in a good spot. I like the way that looks. I haven't decided what other colors to put in this yet either, so I'm still at a bit of a loss. I think I want some yellows. Let me get some yellows out. So my oldest daughter works in a local restaurant as a hostess, and it's not like a chain restaurant or anything. It's just a local restaurant. She's a hostess, and this was her second weekend working. So she's worked a total of, I don't know, maybe like 12 hours for them. And so yesterday on Saturday afternoon, which was her second weekend ever being there, they had her as the only hostess in the place during the lunchtime rush. So I felt so terrible for her. And she felt terrible. She said that her boss had to keep jumping in to help her because, you know, groups of people were coming in and she couldn't seat everybody all at the same time. And then she's also responsible for helping people get their takeout. And she said she had one really rude lady who, when she came in and asked for her takeout order, my daughter told her that she was going to go ask about it because she had never taken a takeout order before. She'd never given somebody one before. And the lady was really mean to her and said, "So you don't know where my food is?" So I don't know. Like I told my daughter, I'm like, you know what? Some people are just unhappy, miserable people. And they will take it out on you, and you just have to let it go. If you let it get under your skin, it's going to make you an unhappy, miserable person, just like them. You don't want that. So her little incident with the rude lady was quickly forgotten yesterday. She hasn't let it deter her. She's going back to work this weekend. Or next weekend. She doesn't work today. She only worked Saturday this week. Alright. But I'm proud of her that she didn't let it get to her too much. Unfortunately, when you work in like customer service of any sort, whether you work in retail or a call center or a server, and I've done all of the above, all of the above. Doesn't matter how you work or where you work or what you do, there's always going to be those people. And sometimes, you know, you kind of feel bad for them. I used to get mad at it. Like, why are you being so stinking rude? But now you get to a point where you just kind of feel sorry for them and wonder what's so wrong in their lives that they feel the need to be so hateful to people. I think that's good. I like the way that turned out. Let's flip it around here. I'm going to take a look at it and see what I think. I like the way the leaves turned out. I think they're cute. But I am going to have some yellows, because I do want some yellows. So, I don't know what I'm going to do in the yellows, but something. I think the big flowers. Nope, right here. I can't point at anything correctly. So, let's take a look at the Prismacolor case and grab some colors. So I want deco yellow for sure. And I want cream. And I have these over here in my pastel drawer. Canary yellow. And I think for my darkest one I want sunburst yellow. I think these will all work out pretty well. Oh, that's not cream, that's sand. Don't want that. There's my cream. Alright, so this is the order I'm going to use these in. I've got cream, deco yellow, canary yellow, and sunburst yellow. And those are the colors I'm going to put in these bigger flowers. Or I'm going to try to. We're going to see how it works. The cream's in good shape. Gotta sharpen things a little here. So I hope you guys are all enjoying your Sunday so far. Mine's been pretty uneventful, to be honest. Like I said, nobody's really feeling all that hot. So we're all just trying to take it as easy as we possibly can. My plan is to color most of the day, and then later I have to go get caught up on all my YouTube videos, because I know a lot of my favorite color tube ladies have some new ones out that I haven't seen yet. And I do need to get caught up on them. I'm trying to decide which of these flowers match each other. Like, so there's these here, and these here, and these that are the same. And then there's this one and this one that are the same. This one looks like the only one like that. This one looks like the only one like this. So I may make these two the same color. This one and this one. And I know that this one looks like this one, but it doesn't have the stripe on the outside of the petals. So I don't know. I like to color flowers, but I have no idea what they are most of the time. I just color them. And this is the light layer of the cream. I've decided I'm just going to try out some new combinations lately. I feel nice and comfortable with my Prismacolors, so trying new things is fun with them. This bunny in the bow tie cracks me up. I like him. He's funny. You guys can tell this first layer isn't supposed to be pretty. It's just supposed to be there to help move the other colors around. Okay, so next on the list is the Deco Yellow. We're going to bring that up almost to the end of the petal here. Not quite, but almost. Do this on all the petals. So my son is sick. He's still coughing. He's still not feeling good. So I'm hoping that we don't end up with the stomach virus and the flu virus all at the same time, which would just be absolutely horrible. And I would not wish that on my worst enemy. So, I don't know. It's all going around where I am, though. It's just everywhere. I said in a comment, and I think I said it in the other video that I was recording, that like our local hospitals and things have issued statements on Facebook and other social media asking us not to come to the emergency room with flu symptoms unless we have like dangerous symptoms or underlying medical conditions that would make the flu dangerous, because there are just so many people, like hospital staff, that are out sick, that they just don't have enough people to treat everybody. And they don't want us to go to the doctor either unless absolutely necessary, because that's just spreading it around, because you have all the immunocompromised people and people with other health conditions that are going to see their doctors, and then you have people with the flu sitting in the waiting room, mask or no mask. You know, you're still spreading, you've got to be spreading some germs around. There's no way to completely quarantine yourself. Alright, so now I'm moving on to Canary Yellow. I'm bringing that up not quite as far. Just a little. Now, of course, if something happens and we have, his fever won't come down, or, you know, things like that, then, you know, of course we're going to go to we're going to do something. We won't just not go to the doctor. But right now, like I said, right now it's manageable. There's nothing horrible happening. It's unpleasant, but it's not dangerous. So thanks to Beth for reminding me about alternating the Motrin and Tylenol, because it's been a long time really since anybody's had a fever. And I know that when they were little, that was, you know, what the doctors told us to do to get a fever under control. But I haven't had to do that in so many years that it just completely slipped my mind. So oh yes, and for the record, I am not recording alone today. My boyfriend is here with me also. So if you hear him in the background, that's why you hear noises. So sloppy today. Could you imagine me trying to color skin today? That would be awful. I'm not good at it anyway. Trying to color when I don't feel good would be just a nightmare. I will though, guys, I promise. There's some skin tutorials in the Jennifer Zimmerman book that I just received too. So that's going to be fun. That should help quite a bit. I've heard wonderful things about her tutorials and such, so I'm kind of excited to give that a shot. I think I like the way this is gonna look. It's kind of what I was going for, was a orangey yellow cream. I'm liking it so far. I've pretty much maxed out my layers already though. Let's go back with Deco Yellow. And this will help me blend things. Not sure what to do with the stripes. I'm thinking about it. I don't know if maybe I should go back in with the two medium colors I don't know, maybe. I just kicked the desk. Made the whole camera shake. Could have used a little red and done like a sunset color flower, I suppose. But it's alright. I like it just like this. Now normally I would do the insides of my flowers like this. I would do those yellow, but I don't think I want to do it yellow because the flower's yellow. So I'm going to have to figure out an alternative. Like, I am going to do this. We're going to put the deco yellow as our light color here. That is what I'm going to do. Make sure I've got it all because I like to miss spots when I color quite a bit. It's like my signature move to miss something completely. No, not that color. This one. This color is like, this particular color, the canary yellow, is like trying to color with a stick of lipstick. It's crazy soft. I think that looks good though. I like that. Okay, now the cream. I'm just going to blend everything up here. So I blended the darker colors with the deco yellow because I was afraid if I put the cream over them that it was going to lighten them up too much, and I don't want that. I'm going to blend the deco yellow up with cream. I know a lot of people like to blend with their Prismacolor white. In that case, if you are a white blender, try cream sometime. Like, do it on a scratch piece of paper or something first, though. Don't just go in with your, you know, like you normally would. Try it out first. I don't want you to do something you're not going to like. But cream is a wonderful alternative to white when it comes to blending. And the Prismacolor cream is kind of yellowy, so keep that in mind, too. What do you guys think of the yellow flower? It's pretty bright, which is kind of what I wanted. I wanted a bright element here. I think it's cute. I like those colors together. Let's do this one down here now. Guess I can get you guys a little bit closer to it, couldn't I? So you can see what I am doing. Alright, so back with the cream. Just a quick base layer. So I kind of went into panic mode today because I have a stomach bug and the children don't. And so I'm wondering what to do about food because I don't want to prepare their food if I'm not feeling very well. Then again, I don't want to feed them pizza either, just in case. So I'm trying to figure out what in the world to do. I may go get some Campbell's chicken noodle soup or something. Call it a day. Can't go wrong with Campbell's chicken noodle soup. The high here today is supposed to be near 40, which is just, we're all celebrating it. Celebrating the fact that it's going to be almost 40 degrees today. I know that seems crazy, but it's like sunbathing weather after the deep freeze we've been in. It's insanity. Okay, so now deco yellow. And since I did this on the flowers above, I'm going to do this on the flowers here too. Just going to go ahead and put this on the little stripes at the end of the petals. So I almost have my Page and Tenderful enchantments done too. I only have like a couple more things I need to color in. And then I will be ready to do the background. And I've been asked if I would do a pencil background on camera. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this because it takes hours and hours to do a pencil background. It just does. It's a slow process, which is why a lot of people just don't like it, because it's putting the same color down over a really big area repeatedly. And I don't do a whole lot of pencil backgrounds for that reason, because after a while it just starts kind of getting boring, to be honest. But it can be done, and my favorite pencils to do pencil backgrounds with are the Lyra Rembrandt Polycolor pencils. And I have found that when you're using a more textured paper like this one, that those pencils go down more evenly than anything else, like even a Prismacolor. So if you haven't quite mastered how to measure the pressure that you're putting down so that you get consistent coverage across like an entire really big area, the Lyra Polycolors are really forgiving. I'm not saying that you guys should all just like run out and go buy them or anything. I got a deal on mine. I got the 36 set for about $18, which here in the United States is a fantastic price. You absolutely can't beat that price. So if you can find them at that price and you want to try them, you should get them because you're not going to see them at that price very often. But, so I bought them because they were on sale and I'd heard other people say good things about them and I wanted to try them. And, you know, they're not my favorite pencils to just grab and color with, but they are my favorite pencils for pencil backgrounds. So, and they work beautifully with polychromos, like Prismacolor. They're really versatile. I just like them. Such a sleepy day today. So lazy. You guys remember being kids on Sundays? Like you didn't have school and mom or dad didn't have work, or both, if you had both parents that worked. And so Sunday you guys would usually, you know, just either be lazy all day or you get up and go to church and then go out to dinner. A big thing for us on Sundays when I was a kid was we would go to Grandma and Grandpa's house for Sunday dinner, and then all the adults would play cards and the kids, you know, we'd all hang out with all our cousins. And unfortunately that doesn't happen anymore because our family has been so scattered. We got family all over the place. So my kids have never even met a lot of their cousins. Okay, now finally, oh no, I want to put that on the outside edges of this as well. So yeah, the days of Sunday dinners at Grandma and Grandpa's house, and you know, for my kids, their only living grandmother now is like 5 hours away, so it's kind of bad for them. They don't get to see their grandparents very often. But it's always a lot of fun when they do. So they were up there for Christmas, and their cousins that live in Chicago were down for a visit. And they really like that. And they have a baby cousin too. Just a tiny little baby, which my oldest daughter absolutely loves. And I did too when I was her age. I love babies. I remember one of my cousins was a great deal older than me. And so I was about 11 or 12 when she started having kids. And she would always come over to my grandmother's house on Sundays for the, you know, the big Sunday dinners. And she loved it that I was there because I was like volunteering to feed the baby, change the baby, hold the baby, entertain the baby. She's like, I get a break? Heck yeah. So, you know, I look back on it now that I have kids of my own that are, you know, halfway done being grown, and realize, you know, how much she must have really seriously appreciated the fact that I was all about wanting to take care of the baby. Alright, so now I'm going to come back in with the Deco Yellow again and kind of blend these darker colors out and up. Saving a little room for the cream. I just really hope that they don't end up getting sick. I'm trying to hibernate in my room so they don't get it. I do have to get up eventually. And it's like, you know, it's one of those times where it's like Lysol and Clorox wipes all the things. All the Lysol, all the Clorox, all the things. Hand sanitizer bottles everywhere. One in every stinking room of the house. I haven't done that yet, but that's actually not a bad idea, is to seriously go and put hand sanitizer bottles all through the house. Be like, sanitize yourself. Don't touch anything. Stop spreading your germs. That is nice. Now for the cream. I'm just using that to blend up that Deco Yellow up toward the edge of the petal. I just love how these colors move together. They're so easy to blend. That's what I really like about these pencils. Someday I'm hoping that all of you who are huge fans of trying out all the different brands of budget pencils and trying to see, you know, which one comes the closest to mimicking the artist pencils and such. Someday I would like to be able to answer the question, which budget pencil is as soft as a Prismacolor? I would love to have an answer for that. Right now there's not one. There's nothing. There is nothing as soft as a Prismacolor. There just isn't. I wish there was. I mean, I think I would take, you know, a little less pigmentation, or maybe the ability to lay down just a few fewer layers for a budget-friendly pencil that is as soft as a Prismacolor, because there just isn't one. And I think that's one of the questions I get asked most frequently. Which budget pencil can I get that's soft like a Prismacolor? Because, you know, people have arthritis. They have issues with their hands, and so they can't really... the harder pencils, if they have to put down a whole bunch of layers, it hurts their hands to do so, and they can't color for more than, you know, 15-20 minutes at a time without it really hurting their hands. And so I'd like to be able to recommend something that's super soft. And I know, like, the Black Widow and Scorpion pencils are really super soft, but they're still nowhere near a Prismacolor. So someday I hope that we have something that we can recommend. Alright guys, I'm going to grab some different colors and take a break really quick, and I'm going to come back and we will work on this little deer right here. I'm going to try to get some colors for it. So I will be right back. Alright, I am back and I have some pencils. We're going to try to color in this deer. I want it to be kind of brown, but I'm not sure what kind of brown, so I just grabbed some colors. I've got ginger root because I used it quite a bit up here, and I kind of like to share colors across my pictures. So I've got ginger root, and then I've got sandbar brown, and I've got dark brown, which is kind of like a richer brown, and then I've got espresso if I need something even darker. So I figure we'll give these a try and see how it goes. A lot of people have asked me about this piece of paper right here. This is just tracing paper. And it's less textured than regular paper, so that's what I've used to rest my hand on. There's a really cool glove that you can buy on Amazon that covers like your hand, like this part of your hand, and then these two fingers up here, so that you can color without worrying about putting the paper down. And I've been looking into that, and the reviews on it are actually pretty good. So I'm really curious about it to see how it would work. So I'm going in with the ginger root first, and I'm going to put this everywhere, including on the little spots, because those might actually just get left this color. I'm not sure. And I'm not sure what color a deer's nose is supposed to be either. If it's darker than the rest of the deer's face, if it's lighter. I think it's darker. So I'm just going to put the ginger root on it for now, and then I will Google it. And I think the inside of the deer's ear, like I think I've seen it done in pink, but I think it's actually a lighter shade. It doesn't have to be exact. I'm going to channel Dee Dee. I'm the boss of my coloring book. I can make it whatever color I want. It's a cute little deer though. I like the way it's drawn to where it's like sleeping. It's adorable. I think I missed a flower petal. I think that's supposed to be a flower petal. And I missed coloring that little spot too, so I'm going to have to come back to that with the blues. But that is okay. That is why I keep my little recipe book. People always ask me what colors I'm using, so I keep this little book. And I put which page I'm doing in which book here, what pencils I'm using, and then for each little part of the page, I list all the colors I used. So this way, because I do tend to miss things, I will remember what colors I was using. And as a side benefit, I can tell you guys what colors I used if you're curious. So now I'm going to come in with the sandbar brown. And again, this is a really light layer. I'm going to go around the little spots. Because I don't want those to be dark. Those are going to be lighter. I'm going to come back and Google his nose, because I don't, like I said, I'm not real sure what to do with it. Leaving the top of his ear like a highlight. I'm not coloring all the way to the edge. I'm going to color in about half of this open section of the ear. And I'm going to leave just a little bit of the top of his head. Or her head. It could be her. It could be a princess deer. I'm going to leave that uncolored also. Just like right here. So that can be a highlight. Alright, so now I'm going to come in with dark brown, which is going to be like the richer brown. I'm going to start putting some of that color in. Again, just light, light, light. I'm just going to kind of tuck it in. I'm going to put some right here up underneath his little face. Now, can you guys see why I don't color people yet? Because I struggle with the poor little deer. I have colored some people. I did pretty good in a Hannah Lynn book, in the Whimsy Girls. I did some enchanted faces, but I did marker. And I think that's the difference, is that I use marker for it. So I'm trying to shade his ear. or her ear. I should stop assuming. There we go. And then should have put some of the sandbar brown down under here too, and I still will. Just gonna give a little bit of a shadow where the crown is resting. I'm just kind of going back over with another layer of the sandbar brown. Trying to figure out what I'm doing as I'm going along because I honestly don't know for certain. This is how a lot of my coloring process goes. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing. We're just putting some colors in because kind of learning as I go, I guess, is a good way to put it. Hoping that as I'm adding more colors, something's gonna click and I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, that's what I meant to do. But just so you guys know, I don't plan everything I color, ever. There's just some things that I'm not 100% certain about until it's on the paper and I see it halfway finished and I'm like, okay, so now this is the direction I want to take. And that's kind of where we are with this little deer right now. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just adding colors and light layers until I think it looks okay. There we go. So now again with the richer brown. And I think I am going to end up, I wasn't sure if I was going to need the espresso, but I think I am. I think I want to tuck it in for some shadows, and I think it's going to make this whole thing come together a little better. So how many of you guys watch, and I know I say this channel all the time, but how many of you guys watch Julie's Passion for Coloring? Most of her work she does with Prismacolor. Now I've seen her use other things. She's shown us how to use like the zig markers and things like that, and she does a wonderful job. Everything she does very well. But most of the time she uses Prismacolor pencils, which is wonderful because they're my favorites and I love them. But she's like, she goes in with heavy layers like right off the bat. And she goes dark to light and I just cannot get the hang of it for the life of me. I've tried to follow her tutorials on pictures that I have, like I'll print them off and try to follow along with her. And I just can't, for the life of me, mine don't end up looking like hers. So, I don't know. It can be done. I know that whenever I color, and I'm always, you know, saying use light layers, but Julie is proof that you don't have to. There are so many different ways to use these pencils and to make your results look fantabulous. And she is proof of that. Light layers are no necesito for everybody. They are for me. So like back in here is where I'm putting the espresso, just so I can get that shadow. Make it look like that part of his body is kind of tucked back there. Okay, so there's that. And then I'm going to put a little bit of it down here. Not much, just some, and kind of fade it up into this. I don't want it to be too noticeable, but it's really dark down there. And then again back here. Okay, I think I am pleased. So I am now going to take my next darkest color, which was the dark brown, and I'm going to kind of put it over top of the espresso in the same place as I had it before. Still using super light layers. So again, I guess this is a different kind of proof that you can get a bajillion layers out of your Prismacolors. But training myself to color lightly took some time. A lot of time. And I'm convinced that when I first started using the Prismacolors, that's why I didn't like them, is because I was so heavy with them. It's just how I was doing things. It's how I was used to doing them, so. That is no longer the case. I have trained myself to be able to add a bajillion layers if I need to. And I really like it sometimes. It's like so calming. I was just having a conversation with somebody via Messenger the other day, and we were kind of talking about what it was about coloring that we really enjoyed and why we thought that it was so relaxing for us when, you know, other things sometimes aren't. We can always, you know, rely on coloring to be that relaxation that we need and such. So, and my answer was, you know, I'm a light layerer. I like to put all the layers down. It makes me happy to do it. It calms me down, makes me happy. So now I'm using just a little bit more pressure on the sandbar brown. Not too much more, just a little bit. I'm going over everything. And I think I may actually have to come in with a blender pencil for this. And that's okay too. Blender pencils can be your friend. I don't always use them. I don't use them nearly as often as I used to when I was new to Prismacolors. But I do use them from time to time. And they are really helpful. Alright, but now last but not least, coming back in with ginger root, getting all the lighter areas blended in. I think it looks pretty. So just so you guys know, when I do these videos, this is like an off-camera thing for me. I know that you've seen it twice now, but it's not, this isn't a color along or a tutorial or anything like that. It's just, you know, Sunday Fun Day is when just kind of talk about stuff, whatever's really going on, and I'm happy with those colors. Let's get the blender out, if I can find it. Yep, Colorless. So, get a nice point on it, and I'm just going to go in and use it to cover in all those white spaces and blend all those layers that I put down together. So I said it before, and I'll say it again, if you are having problems with your colorless blender and you find that it's not mixing your colors together for you the way that you'd like, it's probably because you don't have enough layers down. The colorless blender works so much better when you have several layers of color down. It does such a much better job. Now, if you are only using a few layers and you want to blend those out, that's when you want to grab your Gamsol, because the odorless mineral spirits work really well on just the lightest little layers. The blender pencil doesn't, unfortunately. It doesn't like it when you just have a couple layers down. So basically with this nice sharp blender pencil, I'm using a medium pressure, and I'm just kind of trying to fill in all the leftover white space and get all the colors mixed together. And I hope that those of you that have been struggling with the blender pencil, I hope that helps. Just use some light layers and then use the blender pencil over it. Alright guys, I'm happy with the deer. I'm going to come back in and finish his spots in his nose once I do some Googling and figure out what they're supposed to really look like. But I'm happy with it. I think it looks very nice. I like the way that it looks like the sun's kind of shining on him from above like that. Okay guys, this is where I'm going to go ahead and stop the video for today. I wish that I could keep going just a little bit longer. Unfortunately, everybody around here is sick. You can probably hear my son in there coughing his head off. I hope he's not getting the flu, and like I said, I'm just not feeling the best myself, so I am going to make this one a little shorter today. Chances are I'm probably not going to be able to live stream tonight. I know that I usually try to do that. I said I was going to try to do that on Sunday, and I didn't do it last week either because there was the New Year's Eve thing happening with the stream. But I can't make any promises tonight, guys, because like I said, everybody around here is sick, and I am really trying not to commit to things that I don't think I can do. So if I don't get around to doing it, I will, I promise. If I don't get it done this week, it will definitely happen next week. Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Sunday Funday. I'm sorry if I've been a bit of a downer today. It wasn't my intention. But I did just kind of want to show you guys a few things in this lovely book. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Give the video a big fat thumbs up if you liked it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead, because I do all kinds of things here on this channel. It's always something different happening. So I'm always ready to share stuff with you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Happy coloring.